So before we get into the introduction, I want to ask you, what do you know about ITIL? I don't expect you to know everything about it, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video. Let's start with something simple. Do you know what it stands for? I'll give you the IT. It's Information Technology. But do you know what the IL stands for? It's Infrastructure Library. When you hear the word library, what comes to mind? I think of books on a shelf. That's exactly what ITIL is. It's a set of 5 core books that you can buy online, with over 2,000 pages of guidance. If you were to read all 5 core books from cover to cover, you'd know everything there is to know about ITIL. It's no more mysterious than that. ITIL started with an infrastructure focus. This was an initiative of Margaret Thatcher, who was Prime Minister of the UK in the late 1980s. She was interested in getting private sector feedback about how to improve government operations. At the time, they were having issues with their National Health Service, so they reached out to private healthcare providers around the world and asked how they could improve patient care. At the same time, the government was having a lot of issues with technology. Telecommunications and sharing data between different locations was a big challenge. In particular, trying to reach remote outposts like consulates and embassies was very difficult. So what the government did was reach out to private IT providers around the world. They asked them how they manage their IT infrastructure. You may not remember this, but back then there were no proprietary certifications available from vendors. There was no MCSE from Microsoft or CCNA from Cisco, so ITIL was trying to fill the void by showing you how to set up your components and technology. Since then, ITIL has evolved. It's moved on from being an infrastructure-focused framework to being more process-oriented. It's now about the structured activities carried out by an IT provider. It's also evolved even further into a service focus. We want to clearly articulate what we deliver to the customer as an end-to-end output, including performance criteria. So what I asked you initially was a trick question. ITIL used to be known as the IT Infrastructure Library, but now it's just a brand. Because it's gone so much further into processes and services, we don't confine it to just infrastructure. In fact, I'll give you a heads up. ITIL is much more about understanding the relationship between IT and the business. Even if you're new to IT, these concepts should be easy to understand.